I've got another.
Oop, you.
Interesting. Your microphone is on now, eh?
Yes, it is.
So is mine.
Hello, everyone. Are we alive and kicking?
Well,
Oh, it says live.
yes. Oh, yep. It looks like we're up. Interesting. But when you...
Just sound like a bunch of boomers prattling away like, hello, hello, hello. Oh, I had a face for a second and it went away.
Well, when you stop speaking, a different overlay comes over that I am not in control of, that Rima one.
That is fascinating. I guess I'll just have to keep talking all the time. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the pre-show. Not as much pre-show today. We had a bunch of stuff we had to get ready ahead of time, so thanks for joining us. I'm just going to put something up on socials, so if you're okay watching while a man dials stuff into his phone, then please bear with me. But in the meantime, feel free to share this with everyone else, by the way. All your friends and family need to be a part of all this. Copy link. There we are. There we go. That's what we want. I'm feeling rushed today, and I don't like it. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Da 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 da. I'm your fool. Do, do, do. Links. There we go. All right. All right, thanks for bearing with me, everybody. So, yep, going to dive in just a second. Always a pleasure to have you with us on the old pre-show. So, we're getting ready to go live with all this goodness. The top news stories from the country, all the stuff that all your friends and family were searching for, and some of these serious, some of these silly, but all of them deeply insightful. How you doing, man?
I think I'm doing quite well. There's just a little bit of a strangeness going on in terms of our stream. You may be the only... Oh, no, there I am. I was going to say you might be the only one featured this entire show.
That would be a travesty.
I know.
That would be a crime against beauty.
You would hate that.
Well, I kind of would actually, because, you know, you do make a contribution.
Oh, thank you.
And
a
I appreciate
small
that.
contribution.
I mean, admittedly, I don't want to say
a contribution nonetheless.
All right, we're about to go live, everyone, so don't freak out, all right? Here we go.
Live on air and online. Trending with Andrew Curtis.
Kia ora, good afternoon. Welcome everybody to Trending. It is the news that Aotearoa has been searching for. What do I mean by that? If it's your first time with us today, well, first of all, you are very welcome. Thank you for being a part of the show where, yes, we're looking into the news that was popular, but how do we find this stuff out? Well, thankfully, living in the age of the algorithm means that there is a lot of info available to tell us the stories that Kiwis go searching for more information about. So it's not the same as what happens every week with your nightly news, or maybe when you go to your major news providers to see what's on the front page of their news services. Nope, instead we're going to find out what did people go Googling for more information about. Reveals sometimes, I think, the difference between what we are told is important versus what New Zealanders think is important. Sometimes it's serious, sometimes it's silly, but always it's enlightening, and always, of course, it features Joshua Beatty. G'day, mate.
Oh, well, always.
Oh, well. Okay, fine. In spirit, even when you're not here.
That's true. I've been away sick, I think, a
I just
couple
realised
of
I'm still
times.
standing, by the way. I'm going to sit down, everyone.
Yeah, you're really giving the camera a lot to think about. It's not cutting to me. It's there we go. It was continuing to follow you as you moved around. And there you go. Your microphone's also playing a little bit of a fun
what
game
is
as
going
well.
on today? Anyway, if you're wondering why we're making references to stuff you can look at, don't forget that that's a huge part of the show, by the way. Yes, you can listen, and we welcome everyone who's maybe listening via rema.co.nz or on our traditional radio frequencies, but that's not the only way you can be part of the show.
That is right. Of course, we are streaming, so if you are at the website listening that way, simply click over to our social media links. You will find Facebook and YouTube there, and you will see the stream, which of course you can interact with. Comment below if you are watching via the stream at the moment. We would love to hear from you. Get in touch. 8168 with the keyword REMA is the text if you're listening, but just down below in the comments if you are watching.
8168 with the first word REMA. We'll be looking at those text lines to see what comes through today. Had a great experience, by the way, just before coming into studio, talking with some of the people around the office. And the fact that they were looking at different news stories that were popping up and then trying to predict whether or not they were going to be on trending or not.
Now, you got to tune into the stream. We're not going to give anything away, even if you are our colleagues.
Exactly. You got to earn it like everybody else. Okay, with all that said, let's dive in, take a look at our first news story of the week.
Trending with Andrew Curtis.
So again, these are the stories that were the most popular on Google and other search services. Let us know, what did people go looking for more information about? And the first story that we have for you is shopping related. I mean, of course it is, right? We love a new store. In fact, today I know the headlines were replete with stories about this new Super Kmart. You heard about this?
No, Super Kmart?
Super Kmart operating in Westgate in Auckland, which is opposite Costco.
How is it different to any normal Kmart?
Well, it's a super one, obviously.
Right, so it's just bigger?
Apparently it's massive. I did have measurements of it beforehand, but this is actually all a bit of a mislead because our first story has nothing to do with Kmart, but everything to do with Pandamart. Now, you might say to yourself, how many pandas could you possibly need? It's a reasonable question, so let's see what we can learn from this story that played on One News.
It's been described as Temu in real life. Bargain megastore Pandamart opened its first Southland branch in Christchurch this week with queues of shoppers stretching down the street. But while the products are cheap, there's concern it comes with an environmental cost. Donna Marie Lever reports.
Crowd chaos with trolleys at tipping point and shoppers in a spending state of mind.
Wow, it's big, it's monstrous.
I mean, there's a lot of things here I want, and I'll come back later.
Definitely. Pandamart has made it to the south.
Really, Pandamart essentially is a $2 shop on steroids. This type of retail concept is very popular around the world as people are looking for value.
It's trending on TikTok.
While there are some cute things,
And being pushed across social media.
PD Mart is now open in Christchurch.
I don't think we have anything quite like this in New Zealand, so it feels very new and very overwhelming. I'm not sure how much longer I see those queues at the front, and I'm ready to drop and dash. Very good.
RIP to those people in the background, by the way, who were caught exercising with bargain basement equipment, like exercise equipment. You see the people busting up their squats and things like that while she was talking?
No, I missed it.
Have a look on onenews.co.nz, by the way, if you want to see what I'm talking about here. But let's continue with their coverage of Pandamart.
Good prices, lots of variety.
Busy and something I don't enjoy. Yeah.
But here you are.
Yeah, but here I am.
The store here in Christchurch has now been open for a week, and this is considered very quiet, with staff saying thousands and thousands of customers are through the door every day. But among the euphoria,
There's a significant downside. I mean, in many cases, do people need all of these products? We're already facing some quite significant environmental challenges in New Zealand with a lot of these types of products coming into the market.
with some low-priced loot likely destined for the landfill.
The prices are cheap, but you get what you pay for.
Still too tempting for some.
I buy a lot off Temu, so it sort of matches what Temu prices are.
In other countries, Pandamart has moved into the supermarket space too, with experts predicting a similar future here. Donna Marie Lever, One News.
So there you have it, the story about Pandamart debuting. And can I say, I was particularly tickled by the head of the Retail Association saying, are people really buying the things that they need? It's like, yes, I'm sure you're deeply concerned. Are they really buying the cheap things they don't need? Maybe they should buy the more expensive things they don't need.
Don't buy too many things, but buy the things because it's part of my job. So
Yeah.
make sure you get the things.
If you do it, you'll finally be happy. That's the moral of that story. And in general, consumerism gone rampant. So would you go to something like this, Josh?
Well, it's in Christchurch, so probably not. But
I said something like this, not this exact store.
I don't know. Maybe I tend to try to avoid Temu for the understanding that it is environmentally unfriendly, also maybe ethically
Dubious.
That is a good word in this scenario.
Look, man, slave kids got to earn a living.
I don't know how to respond to that. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, look, I mean, this is the thing that's brought up. It's the same thing as like Shein, right? For clothing.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is a safe place without judgment, by the way. So today there is a momentary amnesty for everyone who wants to admit they've already bought stuff from like Temu and so on. In the chat, send us a text or drop something in the Facebook Live or the YouTube right now.
That's right. You can get in touch, of course, if you're watching via any of the streams, YouTube and Facebook. Just down below, have you shopped on Temu, on Shein? Have you been to Pandamart even?
Yeah.
If we've got somebody watching from Christchurch, let us know. Or not, that's okay as well. Get in touch. Or, of course, you can text us if you are listening, 8168 keyword REMA.
We may or may not have a set of shelves in our house that was sourced via Temu.
Yeah, I have a few Shein items at home.
Wait a second. Oh, if we could rewind time right now, there would be this clip of one Joshua Beatty being like, well, I try to avoid these
Yeah,
things.
hold on. But this was
go to-
before I was aware of its dubiousness.
Right, okay.
I just found it when I was online shopping one day, and I thought, oh, this is amazing. And then I was like, look, guys, stuff from Shein. And people were like, oh. I was like, oh, okay, no more shopping from Shein.
I just think you hang out with judgmental people.
Maybe I do.
And you just need to hang around with more morally ambiguous ones like myself.
Trending with Andrew Curtis.
Complaints to josh.beatty at remamedia.co.nz, everybody.
That's my real email
You didn't
address
have to
as
say that. Honestly. Let's move on then to one of the wildest stories I have ever covered on this show. Someone by the name of Nikado Avocado. It might shock you to know that this is an internet personality. And Josh Beatty, had you heard of Nikado Avocado before this week?
very vaguely.
Yeah.
In the sense, actually, that I knew who he was, but I'd never attached the name to the individual. Now I know his name because
Right.
I'd seen him online in his various forms, which is
Sure.
actually quite accurate
Yeah.
in this regards, is it not?
True. Spoiler alert, but yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, a lot of worry, first and foremost, but now, well, quite a surprise.
Yeah, so Nikado Avocado, he was the number 12 ranked search term in the country this week. In fact, he may well have even ended up higher by the time that we've done this because, of course, some of the research we do into these stories precedes today. Might have racked up a few more searches. But yeah, Nikado Avocado, of course, an internet personality with a name like that, rose to prominence doing internet mukbangs. So how would you describe a mukbang, Josh?
A mukbang is when a internet personality usually buys food and eats it on camera while telling stories or reviewing said food. And in particular these mukbangs, the amount of food was excessive.
Exactly. For example, a 10,000 calorie challenge is not uncommon for a mukbang, where they will just sit down and eat and eat and eat and eat. And you might think to yourself, my goodness, how can you do that without becoming horribly obese? And the answer is you can't. That's exactly what happened.
Yeah, so Nikado Avocado has been in the headlines for a while, actually, at least, well, maybe more social media headlines.
Yeah.
Headlines. For many people worrying about his health as he ballooned to a gigantic size.
And it's not just his physical health as well. His mental state seemed to deteriorate. Also, stories started to emerge of his mistreatment of other people, and then other YouTube channels were charting his demise. In fact, I saw only a few days ago, there was a story that was literally charting what had gone on with Nikado Avocado, and he used to be this nice, sweet guy in Southeast Asia trying out these different foods from his local markets, and now he's become, well, this incredibly unpleasant human being. All to say that from literally exploding to the size of 250, 300 pounds, even though he's only about, say, 5'3", a relatively short guy, he suddenly appeared on his YouTube channel with a video I'm about to show you, making a bit of an announcement. So we'll see how much of the story we can convey in the next minute or two. So there's that element to it. But also, as we play this clip right now, even if you're just listening via the radio today, on a scale of 1 to 10, I want to know from you, how much of a psychopath does this guy sound like? Because, well, let's let the video speak for itself, shall we?
2 steps ahead. I am always 2 steps ahead. This has been the greatest social experiment for my entire life. It's alluring, it's compelling, it's gripping to observe all these unwell, disoriented beings roam the internet in search of stories, ideas, rivalries, where they feel encouraged and engaged, where they involve themselves with the stories and become a product of influence. Thirsty for a distraction from time unspent, spoiling their minds, yet stimulating them at the same time. It's brilliant, and it's dangerous. I feel as if I'm monitoring ants on an ant farm. One follows another, follows another, follows another. It's mesmerizing. It's spellbinding. All these little consumers, all of these lost and bored people. People consuming anything that they're told to consume. So I am the villain because I've made myself one.
So he goes on, and of course the big panda mask reveal, which, by the way, you would have only seen if you're watching via the stream, was to show that here he is, Nikado Avocado, light.
Yeah, having lost seemingly all the weight, if not more, than he gained at the beginning of this saga.
Yeah.
Looking very, quote-unquote, healthy.
So how did he do all this? Well, the story emerges that, in fact, what he had done with all these mukbang videos that you can observe, still up on his channel, by the way, where he is at his largest weight, his most unhealthy, were all recorded up to 2 years ago. He had an archive of 2 years' worth of videos, which he has then drip-fed week by week, month by month, while deciding to embark on a better lifestyle trend, lose all the weight, and suddenly reveal it in this one video here. So it literally went from a very jarring first video where there he is, again, 250 plus pounds, down to suddenly a very svelte looking guy. All to say that this is actually the byproduct of multiple years of content that he had recorded. He's been gaming us the whole time. Some people think he's a genius. Other people think he's a psychopath. What do you think?
Yeah, let us know. In fact, if you've just encountered the story, 8168 keyword Rima, or of course, comment down below in the chat. All this to say as well, he must have stayed out of the public eye in terms of any other regards.
Yeah.
if he was photographed, if he was seen, if somebody captured him with their phone, this whole thing would have been sunk years ago.
Yeah.
And somehow he managed to pull it off.
In that respect, impressive. But I gave people a scale before to rank this guy from ordinary average Joe to psychopath, 0 to 10. Josh Beatty, on the spot right now, what number would you give him?
Well, how about this? I won't respond. I'll respond with what Tabby texted on through.
Okay, go on then.
No, because hers is, I think this just answers your question. Don't roll your eyes at me.
Okay.
She said, Rima, why so creepy?
Why so creepy indeed?
She may have just
Trending
locked
with
in.
Andrew Curtis.
I think Tabby probably just locked in.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Maybe just caught the middle of that clip.
Well, Tabby, allow us to catch you up. If you've just joined us on the radio, then you are partway through Trending. It's a show where we take a look at the leading news stories from the country. According to Google searches, what were the stories that Kiwis were most interested in? That one there, including that creepy clip, was your number 12 story in the country. The 12th most popular. People trying to find out more about Nikado avocado. And can I say too, by the way, if you are a professional YouTuber, can you please invest in a decent microphone?
Oh my gosh.
That sounded like it was recorded in an airplane hangar.
Like the white noise in the background.
Yeah.
It's like you speak now and it's just me going.
Yeah, not great. So all to say, Nikado, buddy, for all your millions of dollars, get a decent microphone. Let's move on now to the entertainment news section.
Trending with Andrew Curtis.
Number 17 in the country, though, the Minecraft movie.
Yeah.
You're not excited?
I'm not a big Minecrafter, if that is.
No, that's fair. I had friends who were into it, I want to say 10 plus years ago, have since moved on, never quite saw the appeal of my own self. But then again, maybe I game in certain ways that you wouldn't approve of. The point is, though, Minecraft popular enough to have a movie coming. Mixed feedback, Josh?
Yes, so recently the trailer dropped, which I think we have the ability to view. Do you want to go to that first, or do you want a little bit of the controversy before we get into it?
I think I certainly want controversy.
Okay, so the trailer dropped. It's live action. You've got Jack Black, you've got Jason Momoa, but people are wondering basically why on earth create a live action Minecraft movie when the game itself lends so much more to an animated movie. In fact, there are millions of Minecraft videos on YouTube where people have created themselves almost feature-length films using the game.
Okay.
And people are loving that content.
All right, well, why don't we do a bit of a comparison here? So first up, we've got a teaser for the Minecraft movie. Now, this is taken via X, and, well, let's see what we think first of all of this one. A live-action video game movie.
Maybe.
At some point. Here we go.
What the hell?
Anything you can dream about here, you can make.
Who are you?
I am Steve. Okay.
This guy is such a tool bag.
Yeah, adorable. What? So, of course, for the 1% of people out there who aren't familiar with Minecraft, it is a video game based on, well, it's a survival game, which generally means harvesting resources from your environment to build stuff to keep you alive. And then, of course, these things expand over time. And, of course, I'm sure anybody who's got a kid under the age of 20
Anything, yeah.
has probably come up against this at some point in the past. So you can see, though, they've kind of taken a bit of an art style inspired by the square, blocky Minecraft world and then inserted Jason Momoa and Jack Black into it, as you do. But Josh, you mentioned too, there are some examples, though, of in-game movies being made or resources being used for films?
Yes, so to maybe expand on what you said, Minecraft has grown from the survival game to quite a creative field where you can, people have created full replicas of Rome.
Wow.
Or New York City.
Wow.
Like it is so epic in its scope that people can create so much and have. And the beauty of this is somebody created a working computer in Minecraft using Minecraft blocks and all the different ways.
Minecraftception.
Oh, it was amazing.
Okay. Well,
and so people have the creativity to create whatever they want, and they have created movies
all right, so
using
look,
Minecraft.
Here is a clip then that we're going to play. So again, great opportunity for you to join the stream. So before we get this underway, a couple of places you can watch this as we play it out.
Yep, get in touch right now, 8168 with the keyword REMA, that's to text. But if you're watching via the stream, then of course leave a comment below. You can find that at rema.co.nz.
That's right. We've got links through to either our Facebook or YouTube channels there. Here's a clip of something that was made within Minecraft, just to give you a sense of what's possible. All right, we've got skeletons, we've got bees, we've got zombies, we've got advancing hordes.
That's a creeper, as they're known in Minecraft, rather than a zombie.
Dun, 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 dun.
This is where you really have to be watching via the stream, isn't it? To really get the full scope.
They seem so unhappy. Look at the range of emotion they can convey.
But look at the ability to capture, like, a full story in the game.
I mean, it is pretty impressive. Yeah, and I'd say you're right. Mind you, I suppose they did have great success with the Mario movie, and that was animated.
It was, but it also, I think the idea here is Minecraft is maybe the most popular video game of all time.
Right, okay.
And
is it really?
Yeah, I think it is, to be honest.
Wow, all right.
And it is so beloved in the sense that it is known for its creativity and the ability it gives its players to create games in world, things in world.
Yeah, sure.
And then to give it a live action Hollywood movie that looks like a horrible green screen where Jason Momoa and Jack Black have just stepped into the big warehouse covered in blue and acted for a couple of hours. Isn't doing it justice.
Okay, here's the question for you guys then. If you are joining us on the stream, either listening in or watching via Facebook or YouTube right now, do you want to go see it? Do you want to go and see the Minecraft movie? Do you have significant others in your life, perhaps considerably shorter on you and dependent for sustenance and accommodation? Will you be taking them along?
Sorry, Ruth's just got in touch. A simple no.
God bless you, Ruth.
Trending with Andrew Curtis.
Let's move to something that maybe is a little closer to the generation of those who are joining us on the show right now. The story that was number 8 in the country was Emily Armstrong. I'll be honest, never heard of Emily Armstrong before, but 10,000 plus searches for Emily Armstrong in the country just in the last few days.
Yeah, I would have assumed maybe a Paralympic athlete. But no, not the case.
No, not in fact.
The new lead singer for Linkin Park.
For Linkin Park. Unbelievable. Now, of course, one of the reasons why they needed a new lead singer was somewhat tragic. Chester Bennington, he was the original lead singer, passed away. How long ago now? Was it a few years?
It's been a while for sure.
And so they've announced that they do have a new singer. It's a female lead singer, which, you know, big news for some, small news for others. Hasn't been universally well received, though.
Yes, but for multiple reasons, not just because she's a female. There is a bit of backstory here, which certainly has just a lot of drama tangled in, shall we say.
Well, then rather than us trying to explain the drama for you, let's play out a clip instead that has been provided via YouTube. Someone looking to explain a little bit of the drama and why Emily Armstrong, coming in at number 8 in our most popular searches over the last week, was indeed so popular. It's not all good news.
Chester's son has spoken out against Emily Armstrong joining Linkin Park as the lead vocalist. Chester's son, Jamie Bennington, who is aged 28, has now said that he is against Emily joining the group and has said it's disrespectful. He first shared a screenshot of Linkin Park's Mike Shinoda, who left a message defending Emily which said, "Many people will take time to wrap their heads around us with her. If people are respectfully not there yet, I'm totally fine with that, but disrespect me, and you will lose my respect in return. We need to give space for everyone who is shocked and processing. It is difficult. Seeing me and M together, shoulder to shoulder, brought up so many feelings for people in our crew and management. Happy and sad at the same time. So complex." Jamie Bennington then responded to Mike's message by saying, "Hey Mike, people aren't having a difficult time wrapping their heads around the prospect of Linkin Park reinventing itself. They are having a hard time wrapping their head around how you firstly hired your friend of many years, Emily Armstrong, to replace Chester Bennington, knowing Emily's history in the church and her history as an ally to Danny Masterson is what it is. Secondly, quietly erased my father's life and legacy in real time, not only during a band interview meant to clear the air about certain aspects of Linkin Park's history and future, but during International Life Ending Prevention Month. I'd mention you, but you restricted my interactions with you because you don't like what I have to say, so this will have to do. Thirdly, you have refused to acknowledge the impact of hiring someone like Emily without so much as a clarifying statement on the variety of victims that make up your core fan base. No acknowledgement of the way you groom your fan base, Chester Bennington, Chester's kids or family, my falling out with your wife, who cannot be mentioned either, Danny Masterson's victims, or even Emily's intimidation of those victims. And the list goes on and on and on. What you've done is not something for people to acclimate to. It's not a shock that people are just going to have to take time, process, and understand. You have betrayed the trust loaned to you by decades of fans and supporting human beings, including myself. We trusted you to be the bigger, better person, to be the change, because you promised us that was your intention. Now you're just senile and tone deaf. Insane. At this point, I would wager that all you Linkin Park guys know is disrespect. You didn't trick me. I do not support. For this video's comment question, are you on Linkin Park's side or are you on Chester and Jamie's side? Before you go, be sure to give this video a thumbs.
Nope, sorry, we're not going to give you a thumbs up. That's just the way we are. But what's this referencing, Josh? Now, Danny Masterson is a name that I have heard before and not in the best of context. So is there any light you can shed on this?
Well, in terms of the church, which probably would be of interest to our listeners, hearing that pop up, specifically, this is actually the Church of Scientology, as I understand, not a Christian church in that regards.
Right.
Other than that, I would say I'm not too familiar with the controversy, but certainly it has caused quite a few waves through the Linkin Park fan base.
Well, if I recall correctly, I believe that Danny himself, who was probably most well known to people for being on that 70s show.
Yes, sorry, thank you. That is correct.
Yeah, he was accused of, and I'm not sure if he's actually been convicted just yet, but certainly accused of sexual assaults and other behavior in line with that as well. So it appears that Emily Armstrong is in some way related to that.
Yeah, she has been a supporter of his, and an ally is maybe a strong word to use here, but a friend. And so, I mean, when your friend is going through a tough time, whether or not the allegations are true or not, she has stood by him.
Yeah.
And that, of course, has caused a ripple effect when you step into the role as the lead singer of Linkin Park.
Who would have thought Linkin Park would be associated with emotional angst?
Trending with Andrew Curtis.
So let's change topic entirely, shall we? We are looking at the news stories that were most important to New Zealanders over the last week. That one with Emily Armstrong there was your number 8. But of course, as we continue to march through, well, let's talk a little bit then about Apple. And they are launching brand new technology right now, but it's not just them. Also, Huawei launching new phones as well. It's the next generation of technology battles, but don't take our word for it. This is CNBC, and their take on what Huawei need to do to compete with Apple. It was, in fact, let me just double check here, your number 7 news story in the country. Again, more than 10,000 searches. just for Apple in the last week.
Oh, absolutely. Even globally, we have seen they are, going with OpenAI. But in mainland China, we're still waiting for that. Apple has not done very well in the last year in China. Huawei has really resurgent. Huawei is still there. We will see some launches today as well. Huawei also doesn't have much of AI right now. So obviously, we'll wait and see how Apple chooses and which AI partner in mainland China it selects. That's how. But again, as I said, even globally, even in China, that did not prevent some of the upgraders for iPhones, even in mainland China, to upgrade to Apple. Obviously, Huawei has been very big, but when starts coming in, when Apple decides and chooses and launches AI in China, Huawei will face some challenges because we are yet to hear the Huawei story on the AI as well.
I'm really glad.
Do you ever get the feeling she was just sitting there listening to him talk and be like, right. So I feel, allow me to interpret those of you who are listening to that, and well done for getting through, what was it, about a minute or so of that spiel as well. That's how the rest of us felt. But nevertheless, I guess when a new phone does come out, people are very excited about it. And Huawei in particular, though, have launched a $2,800 trifold phone.
Yeah, and they announced this just a few hours after Apple announced their new phone.
Is theirs a bifold phone? Like Apple got a bifold?
I don't think Apple does fold phones, actually.
No, I didn't think they did either.
The big,
yeah.
I used to have a fold phone.
I know you did. What have you got now?
I don't have a fold phone.
You are holding that very lovingly, though. So
well, I'm thankful for it because I've learned that the fold phone, I liked it.
Yeah.
It was quite compact, but easily breakable.
Oh.
Yeah, I broke my fold phone recently.
Wow, the fact that the phone, folded in half wasn't enough to kind of tip you off that maybe there might be something about the construction that wasn't entirely rigid?
It's certainly a lot more fragile. The video continues, which we won't get into because I think we were falling asleep. But it does talk about the fact that because they are not so popular, the fold phones or the bifold phones or the trifold phones, whatever you want to call them.
Coming up next, quad-fold phones, pentac phones.
Outside of the USA.
Hexaphone. Sorry, carry on.
That they are not made en masse, and so the ability to repair them is so difficult. And that's actually what I encountered recently, where it seemed like it was a very simple fix. It was just a little bit unaligned, and then I went to the store to get it fixed, and they said, no.
Just no repairs at all. So what? So did they switch it out for you, or did you have to
No, I
upgrade?
had to get a new phone.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Yeah, my wife wasn't too happy.
Was she not?
No.
But she gets to be married to you. How could she be unhappy?
Thank you.
Trending with Andrew Curtis.
A more local story now, though, and this was fascinating, in fact, because, of course, last week we did cover the Māori King. Very popular news story in the country last week. Well, if you love that one, you'll love the sequel. Māori Queen, of course, coming in at number 5 in the country, really leaping up in the search volumes as well. It was 20,000 searches plus in the last week. In fact, even only in the last 5 days.
Yeah, and the tangi for the Māori King, also the crowning of the new Māori Queenie, they happened very close to each other. They are she is his daughter.
Yep.
And so.
And not his eldest, too, by the way.
No. Also, quite a lot of commotion, maybe, around the fact that she is Catholic. So that has been shared recently. But we do have a little bit of an update. I believe it is from One News on the crowning of the new Māori Queen.
That's right. So first of all, we're going to take a look at this story that comes to us from One News. And it is from King Tuhitia's final journey. Of course, his tangi. And then, of course, we're going to be able to cross to a little bit of footage from the crowning of the new Māori Queen as well. Let's see what One News had for us.
A day of great sorrow, but also celebration, as Queenie Ngāwai Hunu Itipo was crowned the new Māori monarch. Her first task, perhaps one of the hardest, accompanying her father on his final journey, taken down the Waikato River with a fleet of 4 waka to Taupiri Maunga for burial. Thousands lining the streets and on the riverbanks to witness the traditional ceremonies. Right now at the marae, they're packing down after the week-long tangihanga, many hands making light work. We have extensive coverage for you tonight with our One News team in Waikato. In a moment, we hear what it meant to mourners who travelled from far and wide to be here, and the role of the new Queenie But first, Māori Affairs reporter Te Anewahura Hanganui on a moving day.
After days of mourning, the grueling last steps. Tainui's sacred maunga stood waiting. Kingi Haitia's beloved rugby league clubs are the pallbearers bearing the weight of grief, carrying a king who carried the kingitanga. But his final journey began back at Turanga Waiwai.
Hey Queenie! Hey Queenie!
As the new monarch was revealed.
Ko te ariki nui, Queenie, ngā wai hono I te pō.
The king's daughter and youngest child.
The Queenie, the youngest monarch, being anointed to service.
But it's the king's service that's brought many here today. Outside they waited in their thousands. A guard of honour from the Defence Force and final farewell from the king's descendants. While the waka were getting ready on the water, the people reflected on their grief.
How can you say e tangi ana te wairua? My spirit cries. How can you say e ti hai ana te tarauna? The very heart of my heart is being ripped. That wairua, that spirit, has permeated these last 7 days.
As the hearse made the slow procession towards the water's edge, his mourners were standing ready.
We are waiting for the waka to come down the awa and go up to Taupiri and be a part of today with everybody.
To see part of history pass beneath them.
Oh, it's sad. That's all I can. But it's, in a way, it's brought us together even stronger, I think.
The king guided by a 4-waka fleet, Tātahiora carrying him along the river, the new queen with him. The waters of the Waikato gently delivering him to the base of his maunga, Taupiri maunga, step by slow step, carried to the mountaintop to be with his mother, his father, and the very first Māori king. Kingi Heitia po tatau te wherowhero te tuawhitu, now resting with his tupuna, e te kingi moimaira.
So incredible coverage from the tangi for King Tuhetia. And of course, now we have a Māori Queenie as well. Remarkable days, remarkable coverage as well, Josh.
Yeah, really moving to see. And I love the beautiful sentiment expressed by one of the mourners there that the positivity, the underlying current in all of the sadness is the bringing together of many Māori people across Aotearoa in this moment, unified, where previously, look, we can talk about many controversies and many times being divided, but at least in this moment, just all there to support.
So what do you think is the significance, though, of the Catholic faith of the Māori Queen as well?
It's interesting. It is an interesting one that has been mentioned. It's actually been covered by Catholic news, not only here in New Zealand, but actually worldwide. And I think it's just a connection in terms of it is maybe not firstly attached a Christian faith to the Māori culture. Of course, though, they are intertwined with the many missionaries who came early.
Sure.
But the idea that there is a Christian Catholic faith attached to the new monarch here, or the new Queenie for the Māori people, I think it's just something of note that those who have a Catholic faith are celebrating, for want of a better
Yeah,
word, or just
no, I think so too.
Rejoicing and going, oh, that's quite a cool moment.
Well, I mean, it's a huge moment, isn't it? I mean, not only the fact that we have a Catholic monarch in the country, but also, too, a female, a queenie, for the first time as well in New Zealand. So a little surprised to see that was your number 5 story in the country over the last week.
Trending with Andrew Curtis.
Down to the business end very shortly, and a name as well that'll be very familiar to many people was your number 4 in the country. More popular, in fact, than the Māori Queen over the last week. But Nigel Latta, very much a household name, and somebody, though, who has been out of the limelight for a little while.
Yes, so sadly the news is that Nigel has been diagnosed with inoperable cancer. He is progressing with chemotherapy. But he recently addressed sort of the fact that he had been away for a while in an online video. And particularly at the beginning, there's a moment that Andrew and I want to focus in on. But we'll give you this update that comes from Nigel himself just about now, I think.
Yeah, so see what sticks out to you in this announcement from Nigel Latta, explaining why he has been out of the public eye.
Hey everyone, how you doing? I just thought I'd give you a wee update on how I'm doing, given that I've been a bit absent from almost everything for about the last 4 months. So, here we go, and no trigger warnings on this. I'm going to talk about some, pretty heavy stuff, but the only people that need trigger warnings are bomb disposal people. The rest of us just need to toughen up a little bit and just learn to deal with difficult things. So, here we go. About a month ago, I was having symptoms of what I thought was a peptic ulcer. So I would eat hardly anything, feel really full, and get a really uncomfortable sort of full feeling in the back of my throat. And he said, look, it's inoperable because the tumour has spread out kind of too far through the stomach lining. And it's also incurable just because of where it's at. And the MRI result at that point had shown that I had lymph node activity here and some lymph nodes between my lungs and lymph nodes around the stomach. And there were a couple of suspicious little areas on, I think, the lungs and I think bits of the liver as well. If you're around the people that you care about, do something nice for them. Let them know that you love them. And how much they mean to you. Being kind, that's the single most important thing in life. So yeah, there we go. That's that. Thanks for listening. Bit of a long one. And I'll let you know where I'm up to in a little bit.
So that was Nigel Latta's announcement. He has incurable stomach cancer that may well have spread through his body now too. But the thing we want to get your thoughts on as well were some comments made at the very start of that video, which could be quite bracing, depending on your current take on the cultural climate.
So, trigger warnings.
Trigger warnings. Let us know your thoughts on this one. Join us in the chat right now, or send us a text, of course.
8168 keyword Rima, or of course down below, as Andrew mentioned in the chat. Really interested to get your opinion on this one. Was that a little bit abrasive by Nigel Latta there? Known, of course, for being somebody who delves deep into the psyche and has has been a treasure, a national treasure for New Zealand for a while, but I think people will agree and people will disagree.
Yeah, what do you reckon about trigger warnings right now? And of course, basically him saying that the only people who need trigger warnings are bomb disposal experts, and the rest of us just need to toughen up a little bit. So, I mean, it's interesting. I know there is some research into trigger warnings to say that their intention, of course, is to protect people from unnecessary trauma. That if you've been through a difficult circumstance, you don't necessarily want to be confronted with that, and therefore a trigger warning gives you the ability to make a conscious choice about whether or not you consume the content that you're about to observe.
Yes.
Makes sense intuitively. My awareness on the literature on this, though, is that it is a bit counterproductive. That aversion, which is effectively what trigger warnings are facilitating, is actually a symptom of PTSD anyway. So you're actually nurturing the symptoms of PTSD by giving people trigger warnings. And the only people they actually, they don't actually benefit anyone and amplify the sense of anxiety and overwhelm that people who might say they need a trigger warning experience in the first place.
It's also quite difficult to know what needs a trigger warning. Is it so small that actually you shouldn't worry about it because you're only adding to the anxiety? Or is it, there's a spectrum, of course, in terms of the content that is out there these days. Now, I actually spoke to my lovely wife about this, who works as an occupational therapist previously, now as a health practitioner, has worked a lot with young kids, particularly in the mental health sector. sector. And she said the sentiment expressed is valid, i.e. we need to be able to discuss and talk about hard subjects. However, the way he stated it is harsh for people who are just starting their trauma processing journey. Triggering or content warnings are helpful as it gives them a moment to check in with themselves. So that comes back to the ideal as you talked about previously. And I think the focus here particularly is probably the beginning of their trauma processing.
Right.
But she also does agree we do need to be able to have those conversations in terms of things that are hard, things that are difficult. If we always avoid them, we're not going to be able to have them.
I just feel so
when they're
uncomfortable,
needed.
Josh. I don't know if I want to talk about this anymore. It's just so.
Are you triggered?
You could have told me about this before you started bringing this up. Look, we do want to know your thoughts on this
Should
one.
have given a trigger warning.
When it comes to trigger warnings, what's your thought on it? Do we need them? Are they necessary? Have they helped you, or are they just something that comes from maybe good intentions but produces poor outcomes?
Actually, we've got somebody who's gotten in touch via the text to say they've remained anonymous, but they say they see trigger warnings on a lot of content these days that they think don't need it.
Maybe more details, please, if you got them. But nevertheless, it wasn't trigger warnings that were so popular in the country. Rather, Nigel Latta in particular. He was, in fact, the number 4 most popular news story in the country over the last week.
Trending with Andrew Curtis.
Not a lot of time remaining then as we try and get through our most popular news stories, in fact. And we are back to the Olympics, some would say, for the last time in a wee while. Of course, we had the Olympics proper or regular. What do you call them? Can we talk about what a minefield of words that you're in? If you're talking about the Paralympics, which we're about to, how do you then refer to the other Olympics? Are they the regular Olympics, the able-bodied? You can't call them the regular ones.
No.
Am I getting cancelled right now?
I think you just...
Again, complaints to Joshua.Beatty.
I think you're just getting to in your head. I think you just call them the Olympics
Right.
and the Paralympics.
Okay, but I mean, if you're, comparing or contrasting between the two, right? Can you do that or not?
Do you need to?
Do you not?
I mean,
Is getting 100-meter gold in the Paralympics the same as getting 100-meter gold in the other Olympics?
I'd argue it's more impressive in the Paralympics. Because I look at a lot of these athletes and I go, you are shooting that bow and arrow with your foot.
That is true.
I can't shoot a bow and arrow with my 2 hands.
That is, you know what, from a, I wonder if they needed trigger warnings. We talked about it. Do you think this would have been a thing that they would have expected, or would they have just been all right with it?
We're sorry if you have been triggered.
Well, why don't we take a look then at this clip in particular, because this was number 1. Would you believe it? Not just the Paralympics. Oh, no. But powerlifting Paralympics. This was the number 1 news story in the country. Over 100,000 searches for powerlifting Paralympics. So let's see what YouTube has to offer from the Paralympic Games.
Paralympics mark 40 years since para-powerlifting was introduced to the Games medal program in New York, USA, and it's been ever present since. World record holder Levan Kong came in as the current world champion, but the best he could manage was bronze with 171 kilograms on his first attempt. Abdullah Kayapinar's effort of 180 kilograms put the pressure on reigning champion Omar Karada of Jordan. The 43-year-old Jordanian was unfazed, and lifting 181 kilograms won him the first para-powerlifting gold of the Games. In the women's up to 41 kilogram final, 3-time silver medalist China's Kui Sei went one better, winning gold with a sensational 119 kilogram lift, a new Paralympic record. Esther Nagu secured Nigeria's second medal of the Games with her own impressive performance. In the women's up to 45 kilograms, a new world record was set as China's Gua Lingling stormed ahead of the field. Her first attempt was already enough for gold, but she wasn't finished there. The dominant force in the men's up to 54 kilograms since his first world title in 2021, Kazakh David Degtrov, was aiming to defend his Paralympic gold in Paris to maintain his 100% Games record.
That is some big lifting, man. That is some 118 kg lifts from the women. I am feeling decidedly emasculated right now.
This is what I'm saying, and I wonder why. I wonder if, it is the most trending story in the country this week, because we are just awed by the strength of these Paralympic athletes.
To be fair, though, if you aren't watching the stream, you wouldn't have got the full impact of this because, yes, there was some narrative value there, but you realise the special bench that they have set up for these Paralympic athletes. In some cases, they're from wheelchair bound, so they have no use of their legs. Others, I mean, there was a competitor there who had no legs at all. And they have a special strap that kind of goes around the waist and lower body to kind of hold it down because, of course, they can't leverage their legs when they're lifting for these particular things. But nevertheless, over 100 kgs, 150 kgs for these people. And, I mean, that is awe-inspiring stuff. That is incredible.
I mean, it's just celebrating those who have had a hard lot in life and still push through and do epic things. And I think ultimately seeing that at #1 on trending is actually making me a little bit warm and fuzzy inside about our nation to just be like that we're celebrating these moments and just going, wow, that is amazing.
Couldn't agree more.
Trending with Andrew Curtis.
So if that was your #1 news story from the country over the last week, then is there anything we can look at from today? And you better believe there is. Music news of a sort, or at least music related, and I found the ideal soundtrack to share this story with you.
An agony behind your eyes as well.
We should probably explain then why is it that Dave Grohl would be trending right now. He's made an announcement.
It has come to light that Dave has had a child out of his current marriage.
Yep.
And so obviously not that is a big deal in and of itself, but it is revealed to his wife that he has been cheating on her. He is trying to be a father to this new child while trying to regain the trust of his already existing family.
Yeah.
Quite a messy situation.
So do we actually have the announcement from him? Because he put something on Instagram, right? Which is, I think...
if you give me a beat and I think I can find it again. I forgot that you probably wanted me to have this queued up. I apologize.
Well, never make this mistake again. So kind of understanding then that Dave Grohl would be in the headlines for something like this, rock and roll lifestyle and all that, and announcing that, of course, now he has another daughter to take care of. And the impact this is going to have on the rest of his family. Of course, the challenge with all these kind of moments as well, right, is that it's never just him. And living life in the public eye means, of course, anyone who knows that you are then related to Dave Grohl, you'll have to bear the consequences of that, not least of all his wife and his children too. And so, again, little surprise that Dave is #1, but it's not exactly for the reasons he'd want to be #1 in the country on a day like today anyway.
Yeah, we're definitely going to see him, I think, pop up in the trending results a little bit more. I'm struggling, unfortunately, sorry, Andrew, to find the official announcement, but I think if you head to Google, it won't take you too long to find it.
Something else, though, that people are interested in, and I think starts in about 1 minute and 30 seconds. So I realised, by the way, we missed an opportunity with this too.
What's that?
We could have covered the presidential debate live, you and I. It's starting at 1 o'clock New Zealand time. Kamala Harris versus Donald Trump.
I mean, that's what people want is our analysis.
Surely. We are the everyman that you needed to provide perspective on American politics.
We should have done that now that
we
you say
should
it.
have, shouldn't we? There is going to be another one. In the moments we have remaining, yes or no, do you want Josh and I to provide live political coverage of the next debate between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump? They are going head-to-head, first time, in fact, and one of the moments, too, that could prove testy is the fact that Kamala was riding high in the polls, looking like she was doing really, really well. But in recent days and weeks, people like Nate Silver, who's behind a website called 538 that has previously predicted winners of the presidential elections, famously gave Donald Trump the best chance of beating Hillary Clinton before, their previous election, even though I think it still only gave him a 25% chance of winning at the time before, surprise, he did win overall. But he has said that now he believes Donald Trump upwards of a 65% chance of winning.
Wow, the swing has been strange, hasn't it? Because it seems so Donald Trump, particularly when you had Joe Biden there, and then as soon as Kamala appeared on the scene.
That's Kamala Harris, thank you very much, not Kamala. We did an entire segment on this last time around.
And as I said it, I felt bad.
And I felt I needed to call you out publicly in front of the people of New Zealand.
Also, we just got a text through from a number ending 273. Yes to election commentary.
Look, tell you what, if we get 10 in the next 5 minutes, we'll do it. All right?
we
will actually do it.
I feel like if we get 5, we'll do it.
Don't cheapen.
Sorry, 10.
Don't cheapen.
It's 10.
Unbelievable. I'll have words to him off air, which, by the way, I'll have to do. I've just realised time has snuck by on us. It's now just after 1 o'clock. So thank you so much again for joining us. We've been looking through the most popular news stories in the country over the last week. Thank you so much for your texts, for your messages in the chat as well. Join us again next Wednesday between 12 and 1. We're going to look at the news Aotearoa has been searching for. I'm Andrew Curtis. This has been Trending for another week.